why you are stuck at 25% body fat. You've been stuck for years, the same body, the same number. You've been told you're lazy. You've been told your metabolism is broken. No matter how much you try, you just can't get the weight off and keep it off. You keep regaining it and resetting. This is so incredibly common. I get on calls with people all the time in this situation. And what I want to do in this video is to help you understand why that is. You're not going to get this type of information online because you're only going to get the information. You're only going to be told, oh, you need to do all these things. But if you don't understand why it's hard for you in your current situation, every time you attempt to lose weight, you're just going to be running headfirst into the wall, fail again and again and again, because you don't have any awareness about why your current situation is working against you. We don't want to fix the symptoms. We want to fix the root cause. So if you can identify with that, this video is literally perfect for you. Now, the first step in understanding why this is so hard for you in a specific case like your own, let's just take a step back and look at the world we live in. We live in a world that's driven by social media. And what you're maybe not aware of is when we are in the fitness industry, so many people are using this as a method of selling products and earning money. Meaning that a lot of the things you see from influencers or people who has really big accounts, they've been paid to either promote products or they're selling something themselves that has been achieved by using methods getting there, aka steroids or supplements that you don't know about, in order for them to say, hey, you have this problem, I have the solution, give me your money, training plans, stupid fasts, various detoxes, 12-week challenges. You could probably give me another 10 examples of things you've heard that maybe you've even tried that didn't work for you. So you are living a life in a world that is working against you. This video is going to be completely opposite of that. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm literally just here trying to help you. And the first step, like I said earlier, is going to figure out why is it that it is so hard for you? Now, before we get into this, my name is Christian. I work with KristianKfitness, an online coaching service. I work with people from all over the world to drop body fat, build muscle mass, and build a lifestyle that can support the results that they get for the rest of their lives. So everything I'm telling you in this video is not based on some generic method I found on ChatGPT or found on some Reddit forum. No, this is literally what I do, helping people achieve what I think you also want to achieve if you clicked on this video. Go from a higher body fat percentage, drop the body fat, build muscle along the way, create habits and routines in your life that support the way you want to live, so that once you then gain the results or get the results that you want, you're not going to fall back to how you were before, regaining everything one more time. I basically just want to give as much information on this YouTube as possible to help people out there, because I know there are so many people that are so frustrated. And even if you're someone who's not looking to sign up for a coaching service, then videos like this can really help. So now that said, hopefully you trust that I have good intentions. So let's now get on with it. Reason number one, coping mechanism. What do I mean with that? What it means is that every single day when you go through your life and you encounter certain stressful situations at work, at home, maybe you're tired, any sort of situation where things gets a little bit harder, automatically people have this coping mechanism that is then connected with some sort of calories. Let me give you an example. So you go through your week Monday to Friday and it's been a really stressful week. Then on Friday you barely just got through the week and you just need to breathe now. And the way you do that is that you head down to the local pub or to the local bar and you just can't wait to have the first drink. And then that first drink just goes into the next one and the third and the fourth. And then you get a little bit tipsy. So then, I'm really hungry as well. So then you order a takeaway pizza and then the whole weekend just begins there. And this sort of reward system of having a hard week followed with the treat of alcohol and good foods, highly calorie foods, what I call eating for pleasure, is something that when you say it or present it like this, is obviously not a bad thing. This is an issue only when it happens every single week and all of a sudden you connect now being stressed with now I need to eat and drink. Now that was just an example for Monday to Friday in a work situation, but what about on the daily? You can be a busy parent with kids screaming, or there can be issues at their school and you're just so stressed throughout the day. And all of a sudden you have this connection now between you feeling stressed to like, oh, I'm just going to have this chocolate in the car, or I'm going to go put gas in my car, and then they have like a Burger King at the gas station. Oh, subconsciously your brain knows you're going to feel a lot better if you go in and you have that Whopper you like so much. And then all of a sudden now, this reward system make you feel good as a result of you feeling bad in other areas of your life. It's just enabling you, or it's making you eat very high amounts of calories on the daily, whether it is this situation I explained, or whether it is another setting where calories goes in as a response to you being stressed or frustrated. When you hear me explain this, you can probably think of some situations in your own life where you can apply this sort of theory or explanation. And the problem here is that it's reactive and there's no awareness. And that's why this video can be powerful, because when you have awareness over these situations where you now understand that I actually don't need this, the only reason why I go have this treat, or the reason I treat myself, is because I am XYZ, fill in the blank, sad, stressed, blah, 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 and so on. It all of a sudden creates awareness around it, where you then might in the moment think, you know what, I did this yesterday as well. And I did it the day before. And last weekend I had a massive one. And now that awareness, makes the numbers add up in your head. And you all of a sudden now realize why the 500 calorie deficit that you sort of stuck to for 3 days earlier in the week has been completely blown out of proportion by this behavior. And reason number 2 for why dropping below 25% body fat is very, very hard for you is that you put yourself in bad positions every single week. Now, what do I mean with that? I mean that someone who has low body fat percentage, someone who doesn't have an issue with keeping body fat off their frame, is also a person who avoids situations where they know they are most likely to fail. So let me put this into perspective. Let's say someone lost 20 kilos or 45 pounds of body fat, 50 pounds of body fat. This person, during their fat loss, found out that the reason why they had gained so much weight was because every single day on the way home from work, they passed by the gas station and they had a chocolate milk, they had a hot dog and some French fries on the side, and they realized that they had over 1,800 calories every single day going home from work, in addition to everything else that they had that day. So to then fix that issue, this person cut out this unnecessary calorie intake that they had. Instead, they brought some food with them from back home to replace that meal that was way lower calories. And by doing this, they automatically lost all this weight that they wanted. Perfect. But if this person all of a sudden, again, every single day started to put him or her in that bad position where they were likely to fail, let's say going to gas stations left and right where they didn't have this backup food with them that was the solution originally, then it's only a matter of time before this person again falls into old behavioral patterns and start eating that food one more time. If someone gained copious amounts of weight because they went out every single weekend and drank so much alcohol, we know alcohol and eating food at the same time is the perfect fat building machine. If they did that and they lost the weight, well, guess what happens if this person puts themselves in that same position again every single weekend? Surrounded by people eating all this food, surrounded by people getting flat out drunk, it's only a matter of time before this person is going to fall back into old habits again and regain everything one more time. So what you can get from this is think about your own life. Are there certain positions you're putting yourself in Monday to Sunday where you're eating or drinking a lot of calories that you shouldn't be drinking or eating? And are there ways where you, instead of just relying on motivation in those situations, could you just not go in the first place? And by doing that, you are literally not relying on willpower anymore or discipline. You're just not putting you in those positions where you're likely to fail. This is so underrated. Another very important point to talk about, as I just spoke about the weekends, is that so many people, they gain so much body fat because of the extreme weekends they find themselves in. In modern 2026, and I guess the last 50 years as well, there is just a drinking culture in societies all over the world that has just become the norm. It's almost like if you don't get flat out drunk every weekend, something is wrong with you. If you tell your friends, no, I'm not going to drink tonight, they're not going to say like, oh, fuck, that's awesome. No, they're going to say, what's wrong? That in itself is just completely crazy to think about. But if all of these people, and you might relate to this, I know I could relate to this when I was younger. If all of these people that went out every single weekend, get drunk, eat all this food, if they just had the awareness around the extreme amounts of calories that are in the alcoholic drinks they're having and the amounts of alcohol they're having, but also the foods they are then having with the alcohol, it might actually make them think twice about doing it so much. Again, awareness is key. A good point to mention here also is a term we call decision fatigue. If you are a person that goes Monday to Sunday and every single day, you are being presented with so many options, so many decisions you have to make for the sake of your goals and how you want to look and feel, you having to say no so many times, it's just a matter of time before you're just like, fuck it. You're going to press that fuck it button because you just can't keep saying no. You're feeling like you're so overly restricting yourself. So again, referring back to what I said before, we got to minimize the amount of times that we have to say no in order to optimize the chances of us actually achieving our goals. And this is where we bring structure into the picture. If you bring structure into when you allow yourself to go out for a drink, when you allow yourself to go out for a big meal, etc., instead of just winging things left and right, then you can really make some headway on getting to your results, because you're not going to just be winging things all the time and rely so much on willpower and so much on discipline, which we know is completely impossible, because we're not AI, we're not robots, we're human beings with emotions, and we all have weak moments. And reason number 3, yo-yo cycles. You have obviously heard about the term yo-yo dieting before. Then the biggest reason why people fall into the cycle of extreme behavior followed by crash and burn, followed by I'm going to try again, is because people do not understand that I'm going to talk to you now, if you have been eating and drinking like an idiot for 30 years, for 20 years, for 10 years, you cannot expect that you can get rid of all the damage you did to yourself in just 3 weeks. The sooner you can come to this realization and accept it, the sooner you're going to get to your goals. If you spent 20 years on adding 50, 30, even 20 kilos of body fat, please accept that it's going to take you at least a year to work it off. And let's be real here, a year is no time if you had so much fun for so many years. Once you accept this, you will then also be okay with following a plan that is giving you progress at a pace that is actually sustainable in your life. Meaning that you're not going to be completely overly restricted to the point where you can't even look at food without exploding. But the sad reality is, and I see it every day, I see it when I get people on calls with the expectations they have. I see it when I talk to people on the street or here in Phuket, where we have a massive fitness community, people coming here wanting to lose 20 kilos in 1 week. I see it everywhere. People adapt extreme methods where they have no fun, they have nothing in their dietary plan that makes them feel good at all. They do 3 hours of cardio every day, and it's just a matter of time before their body breaks down. It's a matter of time before they mentally break down. They crash and burn. They hurt their metabolism to the point where the body had just been in full sort of survival mode, trying to make the tiny bit of calories that it's being fed last with the copious amounts of exercise that this person has been doing, that when you then go overboard and you eat 3, 4, 5,000 calories for 5 days in a row because you just absolutely had it with this crazy fat loss or weight loss, the body's just going to pump you up with body fat as a result of that. You then get so super frustrated with yourself, you're feeling guilty, that you go straight into the next even more restrictive method, because now you're even heavier than before you started before. And the cycle continues. Then before we know it, the person tells everyone they can't lose body fat, their metabolism is broken, and they go on GLP-1s, and then they lose even more muscle mass, getting an even smaller metabolism, setting them up for even more failure in the future. And the frustration and the guilt built up in this process is just incredible. The person just cannot function with themselves when they think about fat loss. And all of a sudden now, this healthy lifestyle, this healthy approach to fat loss is completely demonized, and they are 100% sure that they will never be successful at this. And it's so hard for a person like that that's been hurt so much in this process to accept that they need to slow down, that they need to allow it to take months, if not years, depending on how much body fat they gained. Another incredibly common thing I see is the starting on Monday, and it also a little bit with the New Year's resolution mindset, is that if you are so incredibly convinced and set that you want to lose body fat, that you want to change your way of living so that you can look and feel the way you want on the daily, then the first mistake you are making if you say, I'm going to start Monday, is choosing more pleasure in that moment, and you're pushing off the commitment to Monday. I know it sounds extremely innocent in the moment, but I promise you that mental decision you did right there when you said, no, I'm just going to enjoy just a little bit more, that is where you fail instantly. People have to make the commitment to, when they decide, I want to do this, do it instantly. That is a statement to yourself. And it's a statement to, when you hit those moments of cravings, that you're not just automatically going to make that same switch again, where you're going to say, I'm just going to, you see where I'm going with this? You got to make that statement to yourself, make the commitment. You've already had a ton of fun, I'm sure, years and years prior to this. This is the time for a change. Fuck Monday. Start now. And the last and most important sub point to this yo-yo cycle reason is short-term fixes or band-aid solutions for bigger problems. If you are trying to remove symptoms or fix symptoms instead of fixing the cause, it's just a matter of time before you're going to fail. I mean, that makes sense when I present it in this way, but it can be harder to realize in the moment. If you're someone who's having weight problems and you're stuck on that 25% and you just cannot drop, and then all of a sudden you start doing fasts, or you start doing all these like cleanses because you read somewhere that it's good for fat loss, referring back to what I said before with social media and people trying to sell you shit products just to get your money, it doesn't fix the root cause. The root cause is that every single day you live in a way that doesn't support how you want to look and feel. It means you're eating way too many calories, you're drinking way too many calories, you're too stressed out. Whatever the reason is, how is that going to be fixed by you doing a cleanse? Or how is that going to be fixed by you doing some sort of 4-week boot camp or whatever it might be? It's just a matter of time before life goes back to how it was before. And you know what happens when you go back there. So you have to adapt the mentality to figure out, hey, and by the way, the honesty with yourself, that's a big one. Like, realize what it is that you're doing. Have some self-talk there and be like, why am I eating all this junk food every weekend or every single day? Why am I ordering all these sugary cakes with my coffee that's already 600 calories? Why am I doing that? Have that honesty with yourself and then fix it. Be okay with a fat loss that takes longer, but at least you are fixing the issues in your life that is unnecessary. You don't have to go and eat pizzas or have takeaway every single night. You don't have to have all these calories when you go for coffee. They're all unnecessary. And I really hope with these videos I can help shine some awareness on the areas that you should really work on. And by doing that, actually find the root cause of your issues instead of wasting time, money, and frustration on trying to fix the symptoms. And to finish off these 3 points on why it's hard to drop from 25% body fat and down, I want you to reframe your perspective. This is super important, so take note here. The environment you live in every single day, the environment that you create for yourself in your life will beat your discipline. It will beat your motivation. It will beat your willpower every single time. Meaning that if you are an obese person deciding to go and have coffee at McDonald's every single day, you are creating an environment for failure. If you are a person that is drinking too much alcohol and eating too many shit calories in combination with that alcohol every single weekend, when you decide to go to parties every weekend thinking, oh, I'm just going to stay sober, I'm just going to drink less, you are creating an environment for failure. Am I saying that you could never go out again in your life? No, of course not. But we need to fix the issue first. So when you create an environment in your life, Monday to Sunday, that supports the way you want to look, an environment where you have friends that have healthy habits, not friends that smoke cigarettes, does drugs, and drinks copious amounts of alcohol every day, as an example, once you fix that, it's going to be 10 times easier for you. People are then going to pull you into doing sports events or going for a walk or doing all these healthy things instead of pulling you into doing all these things that pulls you away from your target, away from your goals. The second point here, reframe your perspective, is follow structure throughout your week. Stop winging everything in your life. If you wing it, you're going to fail. Let's just put it like that. You need to plan when you allow yourself to go out. When you go out, you need to plan how many drinks are you going to allow yourself, because your high body fat levels proves to you that you don't have the willpower in the moment to make good decisions. No offense, by the way, I'm only saying this to help. But if you create this structure throughout your week so that you have something to follow, then all of a sudden now we don't need to rely on all this motivation, willpower, and dedication and blah, 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 blah. You are going to avoid the decision fatigue. You're basically just going to follow your plan. You need to be okay with the boring consistency that goes towards your goals. We have to know that building a great physique is boring. Losing body fat is boring. Anything healthy that takes consistency, repetition, day in, day out is boring. It's mundane. It's the same. So you have to be okay with things being boring. And once you accept that every single day is going to be mundane, is going to be repetitive, once you're okay with that, it's going to be 10 times easier for you to just keep doing the boring consistency that's going to take you to your goals. It doesn't have to be flashy. And the last thing I need you to reframe your perspective on is that you need to normalize fat loss in your life. Don't demonize the weight scale like so many people do. Understand why the weight fluctuates. Understand why you're 2 kilos heavier on a Monday. Then all of a sudden, the weight scale is just the best tool of guidance that you have. Normalize being hungry. Hunger is not bad. You're not going to die. Hunger is the natural reaction the body has to a calorie deficit, aka the way to lose body fat. It's okay to be hungry. You don't need to freak out. When you realize that going to bed hungry is normal in a fat loss, you are already way ahead of the curve. But please note that there's a difference between being hungry and being starving. So look at it this way. Don't make fat loss the enemy of your life. Instead, this is important. If you're a person that wants to live a life full of enjoyment, full of holidays, full of drinking, alcohol, have fun with friends, etc., understand that comes with a lot of calories. And if you're unable to match that with the same amount of activity, calorie output, you will gain body fat. And then fat loss has to be a part of your life. Not that there's something that needs to happen all the time, but at least something that has to happen in small phases throughout the year to normalize things for you. So you don't turn 30, 40, 50, and now you got 10 years left of your life because you're just lifestyle diseases, they're up here. Your heart is about to give up, your blood pressure is high, you're basically diabetic, and so on. Fill in the blanks. There's so many things now. People are dying left, right, and center right now. But let me leave you with this. This is fixable. If you are watching this video, I promise you can lose body fat. You can go from 25%, 35% to 15% to 10%, whether you're a man or woman. You can get down there. You can get visible abs. You can get to the point where you go to the gym and you train and you can see your pump and you feel good. The way you're feeling is normal. You just live in an environment, in a time of life that is really hard, that is supportive of lifestyle diseases and obesity. It's not supportive of fat loss, looking and feeling great every single day. Unfortunately not, because there's no money in healthy people. So with that, I'm going to leave you. I hope this video gave you something. I'm sorry if it was a little bit negative. It's obviously talking about reasons why, can just be, just subject after or topic after topic that's negative. But I think it's so incredibly important. And it's so incredibly important that we have direct communication around, you're not overweight, you're fat. Why are you fat? Well, these are all the reasons. And we're not saying that to hurt anyone's feeling. We're saying it because it's important that we are not being so overly sensitive to the point where that sensitivity is causing us to not find the solutions, to not take things serious, right? It's sort of the point, the problem with the whole body positivity movement is it makes people feel good about being unhealthy. And then all of a sudden people just start dying. And then we can look back at that in retrospect and be like, what the hell were we doing normalizing that, you know? We have to have clear communication. So there's no like demonization of or like bad mouthing of how people do it or how you do it or anything. This is just, you know, in this case, me just trying to help basically. Anyways, I hope this helped for you. If you like this video, you want to see more videos like this, very informative stuff, super chill, just me just, you know, ranting on. Drop me a follow or subscribe, drop the video a like. Drop a comment if there's something that you want to hear my take on. Appreciate the support and all the previous videos I put out. Like, things are starting to pick up now. It's very exciting. I'm gonna keep putting these videos out every Monday and Thursday. But thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace.